3, 2, 1.
And welcome everybody to WTL. Where's the line? I'm your host, and D Class, and joined by
Gibran.
the Parlay Ponder.
Yeah, we back.
Back in the house, back at it.
No doubt about it. Let's get it.
And, you know, people like to say, oh, it's summertime, it's slow, nothing to watch. Give me a break.
Yeah.
This is a loaded episode.
If you're betting fiends like us, there's always stuff to watch. And
Degenerates.
Yeah, degenerates is what most people call us. But we got UFC, we got baseball still rolling. So two of my favorite things to bet on and to watch. So, we got plenty to talk about.
And we're going to bring Jonathan Von Tobel from VSiN's Hardwood Handicappers.
Yeah.
We're going to step away and hear a little bit of news. He is in Las Vegas watching the NBA Summer League. And you know what? There's a number of Huskers.
Yeah.
There's a number of Creighton Blue Jays, and they're making some waves. They're making some noise down there in Las Vegas. So we're going to get the inside scoop with JVT of VSiN as well. And that's sandwiched in between what we're already planning to bring to the table here.
No doubt about it. No, it's awesome. Like you said, we got, the McGowans boys out there. We got Banton out there. And like you said,
really good.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So that will be very fun listening to him kind of give us his take on the Huskers and just NBA Summer League in general.
A couple Blue Jays will sprinkle in there too. Show them some love too.
No doubt.
All right, but let's get into your wheelhouse, or what's kind of turned into your wheelhouse.
Yeah,
the
a little
UFC. It's still wild. You were in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Quite a spectacle that had to have been.
It was awesome. It was so cool. Probably my second favorite sporting event I've ever been to outside of the Home Run Derby that I went to in Colorado last year.
Yeah.
So, and we got that coming up here. So, it's all kind of hitting right now. So this is a fun time in sports when everybody is saying that it's kind of dull. But no, we got UFC Fight Night, Ortega versus Rodriguez coming to us live on Saturday night. This is a very good card, Andy. Ortega and Rodriguez, they're 2 and 3 in the rankings right now. One of them has been promised a title shot at the 145 division if they win. So it's a huge card for them. And before I get into those plays, though, I kind of want to throw in a little moneymaker here, Andy. A little bit of plus money here. We got Lauren Murphy versus former bantamweight champion Miesha Tate. She's dropping down to flyweight right now, and it's a move that I don't see going well for her.
Okay.
She struggled against Vieira, the last person she fought against, and is now fighting one of the best flyweights in the world, in Lauren Murphy, who is also super durable. Murphy has solid takedown defense, and if she can keep standing, I don't see this going well for Miesha Tate, because if Miesha Tate can't wrestle, she's not going to be able to take Murphy down. So I have a bet here at plus 175 with Lauren Murphy winning this fight. So that's my underdog of the night, which I really think has a really good shot of hitting. And to me, this should be more of a pick'em bet. But they still, on the books right now, they still have her at plus money. With Miesha Tate dropping down. They think with her weight, she can kind of
hold her own striking-wise.
And get her on the ground. So,
that's her game, though, right?
Grappling. It is.
Yeah,
it is, but I don't think Lauren Murphy's going to stand for that, and I really think she might finish her in this. But just to be safe, I'm just going to go with the decision at plus 175.
Murphy wins over half of her fights by KO,
right,
or TKO.
Yeah,
either or. So if you want to get a little wild, do some player prop type stuff. That. And you're a believer in Lauren Murphy. You know that might be all right too. I love the plus money bet though.
Yeah,
and just looking at the overall record. And not knowing the drop in the weight class from Tate, you got Lauren Murphy at 15-5.
Yeah,
Miesha at 19-8.
Right,
kind of going the wrong way.
No, and Miesha Tate's always. Her last few fights, you can tell that she's trying to hold on to those glory years that she had with Ronda against Nunez and Holly Holm and all those girls. I think it's about time for her to hang it up.
Okay,
and this could be the one that puts her in the grave.
Yeah, well, it's. She wins by submission. That is her game.
No doubt about it.
And that's maybe has fallen off a little bit. And like you said, Lauren Murphy, even though she's given up about 10 pounds here, this is her class. This is her weight class.
This is her weight class, and she is a striker. And if she can stay on her feet, she has a very good shot at winning this.
All right, so let's move up to another women's bout. What were you kind of looking at here?
Yeah, no, we got the co-main event of the night, Lamos versus Watterson. This is scheduled for 3 rounds, strawweight division, and these two are knocking on the door. UFC odds have Lamos as a big favorite, -400, as she hopes to get back into title contention. Watterson is at +260 as the underdog, and she is in desperate need for a victory, or it's, kind of lights out for her as well.
Yeah. The karate hottie needs
the karate hottie
right
needs,
here.
The karate hottie needs to get back on track here.
She's still ranked ahead of Lamos.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. Lamos and Watterson are seeking, like I said, to regain the momentum to get at the top of the division. Mm-hmm. They're both coming off losses in their most recent fights. I really have a hard time going with the underdog here. I really think the karate hottie is about to get finished. My best bet on this one, though, Andy, is I think this is going to go the distance.
Okay.
I think it's going to go all 3 rounds. So my best bet of the night is over 2.5 rounds at -210. I really think that the karate hottie is a big a dog as she is. I think she's going to be able to stay there, not get knocked out.
That is her game. Her average fight time. Fight time is 14 minutes, 49 seconds.
Right.
It goes the distance. But that worries me with Lamos, so only at 7 minutes.
Yeah, that's because she knocks people out for sure. And that's another, if you guys want to go that way, if you do think Lamos obviously has the power to do it, but she's sitting at a +260 to win by TKO, which is a good bet, but like we said with the karate hottie, she does not get knocked out.
Yeah, good defense. Good defender.
I think the best bet is going over 2.5 rounds at that -210. I think it's the best value. And if I had to go with one or the other, I'd go Lamos money line, but that's at a -400, so there's not a lot of value there. So my best bet, my most valued bet of this fight is over the 2.5 rounds at -210.
Yeah, if you got to get in on this bet, and I think there's going to be a lot of action. I really do.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
And I think more people are accustomed to betting on the karate hottie.
Oh,
that's
for
fun.
sure. She's the name,
and she's got a lot more fights.
Yeah,
she's 18-9 compared to 11-2-1.
Yeah.
And also I'm seeing a lot of buzz, a lot of hype videos, whether it be on social media, whatever you're on.
Yeah.
Talking about Watterson.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about Lamos outside of insiders.
You know what I mean? Insiders that know
yeah.
what the strawweight division in the women's is doing right now.
Yeah.
And if Lamos wins this, she's right on the door again to fighting, probably the loser of Amanda Nunes and Juliana Pena coming up here soon. So this is a stepping stone for both of them. It's going to be a fun fight. I just think it goes the distance, and I think Lamos brings it out in the end.
All right, so let's talk about the other main card. Kind of fun how it's
co-main event. Yeah.
Rodriguez and Ortega, T-City, taking on El Pantera.
Yep, El Pantera versus T-City. Ortega ranked number 2 in the world at the 145 division. It's crazy, despite he's only appearing in the octagon just 3 times in the past 4 years. It's crazy that you can hold on to a ranking of that sort.
Yeah.
But
he's coming off a loss.
He's coming off a loss, but it's to Volkanovski, the Great.
Yeah.
And the only other loss that he's had in those 4 years is Max Holloway, which those are by far the best in the division.
Yeah. Yep.
And Ortega, for that fight that he did have against Volk, smashed him up the first 4 rounds or whatever, but Ortega
hung in
there and actually took round 5 from him. Took a championship round from the Great Volkanovski, which is unheard of in this run that the Great has done. So I really like Ortega in this, but Ortega is not actually promised a title shot if he wins this. Now they have said that if Rodriguez beats Ortega, there's nowhere else to go with the title shot other than Rodriguez. So Rodriguez has a little more, I feel like, a little more oomph to come in here and try and put on a show, but as fearsome a finisher as T-City has been, I don't see him losing this fight. I don't see him losing to anybody in the division. I actually think that he's probably going to come back after he wins this fight and fight Max Holloway.
Yeah.
And, kind of cement himself as the number 2 in the division. And it could be even for a strap because Volk might go up in weight class. And
he might. He's got nowhere else to go.
He's got nowhere else to go. He's not nobody else to beat. But
even though there was some controversy there with Holloway, wasn't there? Like,
the two fights before this last one, Volkanovski just beat the crap out of him at 276. So there's no more doubt. There's no more anything with Max. He is.
Well, Max was trying to say that.
Yeah, of course. He's not going to get a fourth fight and not win any of them. So it's pretty tough to get 4 title shots, especially if you haven't won a single fight.
Exactly.
But like we're saying, opportunity knocks for Yair Rodriguez here. Yeah, I just don't see Ortega losing, especially because Ortega, it seems like he gets better as fights go on, and I really think that this one probably could go into later rounds. But my best pick of the night for this card, Andy, Ortega winning by submission at plus 270.
Okay.
That is huge money. I think Ortega is going to do it.
He averages over 1 submission per 15 minutes. So that means...
Yeah. He's going to do it. Yeah, no.
Easy to do that,
I think he's going to do it. I think he's going to take him down. I think he's going to get the submission. I think he's a lot better wrestler. It's just how I feel in this fight. I know that a lot of people would rather see probably Rodriguez win this fight to see if not a same thing against Ortega versus Max or Ortega versus Volkanovski. But I really think that these are the top 3 in the division.
Yeah,
and I don't think it's ever going to stop. Nothing here very soon, anyways.
Yeah, so you're taking that plus money, Ortega, kind of getting in a little bit of a prop there with the submission pick. That's your
plus
best
270,
bet.
Yep.
Okay, now you always like to string something together, and that was our, by far and away our most viewed short video, your 4-leg parlay at 276. Are you going to throw anything else out there like that?
It didn't work out for me. Max couldn't come through for me. No, it was a lot of fun. I probably put in, 9 or 10 parlays just walking up the strip.
Hey, as soon as you hit, the ground, the Twins did a walk-off for you.
Yeah, no doubt.
There you go.
No, but I am going to throw in a parlay here, Andy. It's
let's go.
I got $50 on this. It's Ortega at minus 165. Lamos at minus 325. Which,
big favorite.
Yep. But then Lauren Murphy at that plus money, like we were talking earlier, at plus 170. You bet $50 on this, you're getting a return of $233, which I think is
pretty
probably
good
the
wager.
Best value for the night. If you want to get real weird on it, you can parlay Ortega by submission and Lamos by decision and all that kind of stuff.
Oh man, what's that? Does you got that?
I don't have that. That would be absolutely nutty, crazy because all those would be plus bets. I feel like the most bang for your buck, the most likely to happen is just money line on all 3 of these fighters and hit it for $230.
And just keep it at that 3-leg.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what got you into trouble with the 4-leg.
Right.
Or
5 or 6.
Yeah, your odds, man, they really go the other way when you just keep adding a leg to that parlay. And I like keeping it at 3.
Yeah.
And you're also getting the payout that you're looking for when you do string together a parlay. So
of course.
I have nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
Yep, you got it.
All right, let's take a quick minute here to talk about this week's sponsor, Nebraska Brewing Company, coming at you world class in every glass. I'm enjoying a Cardinal right now.
There you go.
What do you got going on over there? IPA?
I got the Taco Besa.
There we go. Little Taco Besa. All right, we're going to take a quick break here, and we're going to come back with Jonathan Von Tobel out of VSiN, out of Las Vegas. We're going to be talking some Summer League NBA. Don't go anywhere, folks. All righty, welcome to WTL, everybody. I'm your host, Andy Klassen. Now, we got a good one for you guys, straight out of Las Vegas. Jonathan Van Tobel, host of VSiN's Hardwood Handicappers podcast. Jonathan, thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem. I'm here at the concourse. The game started a little bit later today, so it's a little bit more quiet than usual, but it's been cool out here, man. I like this a lot. I'm a big NBA guy, so it's been cool to be out here. Yeah, and you're leading me right into it. You're also host of The Edge, so you are on site in Las Vegas watching all these Summer League games go down. Yeah, it's cool, and you get to watch. And look, you don't take a lot away from Summer League games. Guys aren't failures after a couple of games in a developmental setting. Guys aren't going to be all NBA Hall of Famers after a couple of games in a setting. But you get to see their game. You get to see them up close. You get to see what they look like physically. It is really cool to see they're just the first steps of these guys' careers. And there's also guys who are in their second years, third years, who show some real development. For me, one guy that's been a big, I think, winner of the NBA Summer League has been a guy like Quentin Grimes for the New York Knicks. A guy going into his second year showing some real development, looks like the best player on the court at times. You want to see that. So it's not all about the rookies. It's about some of these guys going in their second year, what they're showing.
Yeah, and that's really what's so special about the G League and especially the Summer League. A lot of excitement around the NBA and these younger guys getting their opportunity. Let's talk about those big three, though, and their odds. I mean, they're the odds-on favorite for Rookie of the Year. And, boy, we've seen some really good things out of Paolo Banchero, plus 350, I think. Chet Holmgren's right behind him, plus 375, a lot of places. And Jabari Smith, those were three names that lottery picks, first three off the board, people were talking a lot about. And, boy, they've really showed out thus far in the Summer League.
Yeah, especially Banchero, right? The other day, I think it was yesterday, that the Orlando Magic come out and say, essentially, look, we've seen enough. He's not going to play for the rest of the Summer League. Has looked really good in the time that we have seen him out here. Looks very comfortable. And I think him, Holmgren, they deserve to be at the top. It's because you go into a season, they are the known names. They're going to build up the most liability. So that's the way you kind of stack up Rookie of the Year odds. And Jabari Smith Jr., too. It's funny. So we talk about guys who are, you get off to slow starts. So a lot of people, I think, were turned off, I guess you could say, by a slow start from Jabari Smith Jr. But here's the thing. Again, these games don't matter. The other part is when he gets to Houston and he's playing with the guys who's going to legitimately be playing with the regular season, Jalen Green, Kevin Porter Jr., that's a backcourt that's going to create a lot of space for him. It's going to work out really well. He's going to look a lot more comfortable in a setting like that. So those three deserve to be up there, but I'd say keep your eye on some other guys. Benedict Mathurin has looked really, really solid for the Indiana Pacers in some early parts of the Summer League play. I've been a big fan. I've watched the Pacers, I think, the most out of all these teams, just happened to catch them. And Keegan Murray for the Sacramento Kings makes it look easy. Like he moves, my co-host Matt Humans and I were talking about this, moves kind of slow when you watch him play. But those guys where you're watching them and you check a box score, it's like, oh, he's got more than 20 points and he's hit about 3 3-point shots. So Keegan Murray and Benedict Mathurin, I think, are guys further down the board that you're really intrigued by as you head into next year.
Yeah, definitely some names to keep an eye on. Some other guys that we've been keeping a close eye on in these parts of Nebraska. A lot of excitement around the Summer League because we actually have a few players from the University of Nebraska participating. And that's starting with, our first 5-star blue chip recruit ever, Bryce Mcgowans. He's having some decent numbers, averaging 13 points in about 32 minutes of work. What have you seen from Bryce and also his older brother, Trey, playing with the Clippers?
Yeah, Charlotte has not been a team I've watched a lot of, but I'll say McGowan's, when you can lead a team with scoring and 17 points and you look comfortable in these, the shot looked really well. I think one of the games went 3 of 6 from beyond the arc. I think it's more about like how comfortable they look out in these settings. And if they feel they're out there on the floor and they look like they belong, and that has been the case. And I think that's kind of been the case, at least for Bryce, who I've seen a little bit more of at times. You see mistakes out there, sloppy with the ball, but I think that's as you expect from younger guys in the first time in these settings. So I'll say, at least for Bryce Mcgowans, who I've seen a little bit of, I think you'll like it. Again, when you can come out of this with a positive vibe, it's always good as you head into the year, and there's always something there. And if you can shoot the ball in this league, you got a spot, and it looks like he can.
And we know firsthand Bryce can fill it up. He can put it through the hoop. Another guy that you already kind of touched on it, a second-year guy, Delano Banton, a very lengthy guard out of Nebraska. In his 4 G League games, he averaged 26 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. So, those are numbers that you can hang your hat on. Made 64 appearances in the league, got a couple starts in there. And he's amongst the leading scorers this year in the Summer League. What have you seen out of Banton?
Well, I think that's the kind of along the lines we were talking about Quentin Grimes, right? Like when you have a guy who played a year in the NBA already, played 64 games for him last year, made a start, I think, as you mentioned, put in some really good minutes for the Toronto Raptors, and then you can come out and look like at times the best dude on the floor. I think that's really good for you. And Banton has looked like that's the case. He's already an intriguing dude, too. I think he's 6'7", 6'8", but a dude who can handle and move. As just a talent overall, he's a super intriguing guy. And when you can come out here, put up those numbers, again, look like the best player on the court, it's just really cool for me. Like when you see dudes who play a year in the league, you can see the development and you can see the change in their game when they come back to this setting the next summer. So I think those are really good developments for him and for the Raptors, right? Because they're a team that could potentially be a little bit thinner in terms of their depth, depending on what they ship off if they're in contention for Kevin Durant. And that could mean that Banton's in for a lot of minutes this coming year. So I think it's really positive for him.
Yeah, Banton is one of those lengthy guys. He might not look like he's moving too fast, but, 2 steps, he's already to the rim and he's putting it through. So been a lot of fun to watch him develop. Another guy that's kind of taken a little bit of a detour to get to the league, but he's getting his opportunity now from the University of Nebraska. James Palmer Jr. Is getting a shot here with the Utah Jazz. And I think he played in Europe last year, Okay, and then he played some G League games, and in those 2 G League seasons, he averaged 16 points. So there's potential, and he's putting up some similar numbers here in the summer league.
Yeah, and I think really when you talk about guys like that, and I haven't seen a lot of him yet, but I will say, again, like what I always like about like sports in general, but basketball is really up there. Guys don't take traditional paths as you talk about, and sometimes it takes a little bit to kind of latch on or develop. A really good example, I covered UNLV basketball for a while here. Chris Wood is a guy who didn't get drafted, thought he was going to be at least selected. There's a very famous picture of him out there really dejected afterwards, take a circuitous path to get here. But now all of a sudden, he's getting acquired by the Dallas Mavericks, getting traded for, and he's going to be up there. So guys like that, I would just say, you never want to give up too soon, because you never know that in 2 years, all of a sudden he bursts onto the scene with some real development and teams latch onto him.
Yeah, and we got to take a moment here in Omaha, Nebraska. That's home of the Creighton Blue Jays, and after conference realignment, we're Big East country now here in Nebraska, I guess. So why not? But Tyshawn Alexander had a heck of a game, 22 points, went 4 for 9 downtown. Actually pushed the game to overtime the other night against the Suns. And we saw some promise here in Omaha, seeing him play throughout the season for the Creighton Blue Jays out of the Big East. But now he's getting an opportunity to showcase that in the Summer League. Have you had a chance to see the young Hornet there, Tyshawn Alexander?
Well, a little bit. I was watching the game on TV. But, like what I like about like when you watch guys like him, especially when you get into a Summer League setting, is like if you get really good guard play for some of these teams, Summer League is a better setting, I think, sometimes for guards, because they're going to have the ball in their hands. Great, they can do stuff like that. So it gives a opportunity for guys like Tyshawn to put their game out there and put a little bit more forth. Front court players, like we were talking about Jabari Smith Jr., sometimes they're not in the best settings for them, so people kind of sell on them. And for guys like Tyshawn Alexander, they can really raise their stock, I think. So it's been a good setting for him.
Yeah, and he's done well. So a name that's catching a lot of buzz, and I don't know if deservedly so or not, but Sharif O'Neal, Shaquille O'Neal's son, didn't have a lot of fanfare coming out of college. Between 3 seasons split between UCLA and LSU, he only averaged, 2.5 points. But the LA Lakers, they're giving him a shot, and he had a decent game. It was a blowout against the Heat, but he came in, put in some worthwhile minutes, did some good things.
Yeah, and we're going to get to see him. I think they either play tonight or tomorrow, the Lakers, so we're going to see another one. But last time, that one game, too, I think it was against the Charlotte Hornets as well. Only 15 minutes, but decent at 4 points, had 7 rebounds, 2 of 4 from the floor when they played the Hornets in a double overtime game. So I think that's a real positive for him out there, and especially we're talking about where you're coming off of the bench in a summer league game, and it's not really a front court oriented type of game in these settings. To at least put that out there and show that you have the ability to work down low a little bit, it's positive for him. So I can't wait. I'm actually the Lakers I'm planning to watch that game up close here, because they're one of the teams that I haven't got to see a lot of it. Live, at least on TV, I've seen a little bit of them.
Yeah, he's going to get his opportunity, and what a better spot for him. He couldn't ask for a better shot than with the LA Lakers. So you got time to dive into one more thing here? The NBA is always headlines. It's like a soap opera year round. If you got time, I got one more question for you.
Yeah, what do you got?
So many odds are circling around Kevin Durant and where he's going. I don't care if you're on FanDuel, DraftKings, whatever. There seems to be odds here, there, everywhere else. And it's just fascinating. Kyrie Irving opts into his contract. A day later, Durant opts out. And oh, by the way, he just signed a 4-year, $94 million contract. And he opts out after, or he requests the trade after Irving opts in. So what do you make of all this, and what do you think? Kevin Durant, get your crystal ball out. Where do you think he's going to end up? The Nets or somewhere else?
Obviously, I don't really know. I will say, about 2 weeks ago or so, I put a small ticket on Toronto at 50-1 to win the NBA title, just thinking that, they'd be a place that he might end up. And they're up there in terms of the teams that are rumored to grab him. It is pretty fascinating, though, because we have this whole deal reported yesterday. I think it was by Brian Windhorst, that it looks like DeAndre Ayton's on the verge of getting signed and traded to the Indiana Pacers, which would be a domino in the whole entire thing in terms of teams that can acquire him, because the Phoenix Suns, of course, are a team that he wants to go to. I'm really fascinated, because I think from a package standpoint, teams like New Orleans are interesting, teams like Toronto are interesting, but it definitely wasn't on a short list when it was first reported. So if you twist my arm, just because I invested in them, I'll say the Toronto Raptors. But that was more of a beat the market type of bet and get a better number in case it does happen, as opposed to anything else. So I'll pick Toronto.
Hey, a little wishful thinking. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Jonathan. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Hey, where can folks get more of what you got going on there for VSiN?
All the writings up at vsin.com in our NBA section. Let's see, Twitter at MeJVT, and yeah, that's about it.
JVT, thank you for your time.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And welcome back to WTL, everybody. I'm your host, Andy Klassen, joined by
Gibran,
the Parlay Pounder.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, that was pretty awesome getting Jonathan Von Tobel on the podcast.
No doubt.
And it's pretty cool that he's there in Las Vegas doing his work for VSiN.
Yeah.
And can give us a bird's eye view from the arena there, seeing these players get after it.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. Like, he's literally just walking around the concourse, and he did that interview for us. So, no, that was very awesome. Obviously, he's seen a lot of the guys there, some of the top rookies. It's that would be a very fun thing to be out there for, and someday I'm going to get out there and do that.
And he had some pretty good, I don't want to call them sleeper picks, but, guys that you might want to look at as far as, doing these futures and rookie of the year type bets.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
There's some guys there that he mentioned that I don't know if quite have made the mainstream media yet.
Exactly. No, you usually only hear about the top 3 picks, and that's about as far as it go. Top 2 probably in this class with Banchero and Chet.
Yeah, and they already shut him down.
So those are the 2 that everybody's talking about. But, hey, we're talking about our boy Bryce.
Yeah.
Just played a game tonight. They won 91-80, the Hornets over the Cavs. He dropped in 24 points. This kid can score the basketball.
We know he can do that.
We know that he's always been able to do that. Went 5 for 6 from downtown, 7 for 10 from the field. And 5 for 6 from the free throw line. So this guy has what it takes. He's kind of like that little slender, Kevin Durant kind of thing, but he's a little shorter, obviously. But if he puts on some muscle and kind of, gets into the, the way of the NBA, he really has a shot. I hope he doesn't just turn into one of these G League players that fizzles. Yeah. Because that's very hard to see, somebody with so much potential just spend like 3 or 4 years in the G League and then, hang it up.
And we're starting to see that, though. A lot more second-round guys get their shot, and then executives, coaches take them serious and like, no, we got to get these guys on the court. We got to get them on the hardwood in the regular season.
No doubt.
Not stash them away or play the guy that, we got all this capital tied up into.
Yeah.
Like, we're seeing a lot more flexibility as far as coaching staffs and management allowing your best players to play, and I think that bodes very well for Bryce Mcgowans.
I think so, too. And with the way that the Summer League has turned into such a big deal, it's a lot better for these younger players, especially because
wild money getting bet on.
It's crazy. And now they're getting championship rings and all that kind of stuff. It's crazy at what kind of spectacle it's turned into, but that's just the NBA in general. It has so many fans across the world that people just want to see it all the way around. And Tyshawn Alexander from Creighton was in the same game. He threw in 5 points and 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and a block. So
is that a J-Skers wet dream that the Hornets?
I know it's me because I'm kind of a Hornets fan because I'm a big LaMelo guy. So if McGowans can figure out how to get on this team and actually contribute,
and Tyshawn,
I might jump ship on LeBron and be a total Buzz City guy.
Was that two or 3 nights ago? Tyshawn was just lighting it up from outside.
3.
I mean, and he pushed the game to overtime.
Yep.
So he playing in the clutch, just like we saw him do for Creighton in the Big East.
No doubt.
It's good to see that it's translated to at least the Summer League here.
Of course.
So, and I'll tell you one thing about Bryce real quick, and his brother Trey, who signed with the Clippers. Yep. So he's getting some work in here too.
No doubt.
Or getting a shot anyway. Ran into them at the high school state games. We broadcast that, and after the game, they made some time for him. He got to talk to him a little bit. Really nice guys. They didn't have to come up and give me the time of day, but super, super cool. Met and talked with their trainer. I kind of know their trainer a little bit.
Yeah.
I already was pulling for those guys.
For sure.
And then you meet them and you hear about them and then you get to see it. So, I wish them the best of luck, and so far, so good.
So far, so good, especially during the Summer League. And like we talked about in that segment, Banton, his team won tonight, too. The Raptors beat the Jazz 80-74, and he threw in 8 points.
Hey, he made 64 appearances last year.
Exactly.
And they wanted to see if it's for real.
He played 30 minutes in this game tonight, so he's a guy that they're really testing. Is he going to be a full-time player for the Raptors? And it's trending that way. It really is.
Well, and that's another thing that JVT talked about was like he's already an intriguing kind of guy.
No doubt.
We saw that at Nebraska.
Of course.
What is he, 6'7", 6'8"?
Something like that, and very slender.
And a guard
he
can shoot.
He can shoot.
Get to the rim.
Yep.
He's not afraid of contact.
Nope.
And you think usually a slender guy like that would, have a little hesitation to mix it up down low.
No doubt.
He has no hesitation.
No.
I mean, I don't know how many times he would take it to the rim, get clobbered.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Yep, I know.
But man, he played his cards right, and he's in a really good spot right now, I feel, rounding things out here in the Summer League. So a lot of fun. If you get a shot, it's a good way to kill an afternoon if you don't got anything going on.
Of course.
Watching some NBA Summer League.
Yep, no doubt about it. Andy, so let's get into some July baseball.
Yes. Okay, well, now you want to go futures here, World Series odds, where they were, where they opened, and who do we like now? Is anyone climbing up that ladder?
We have seen one half of baseball. We got the full picture now of who these teams are, how they're going to be, who needs a piece here, who needs a pitcher, who needs a cleanup hitter kind of thing. So the All-Star game is this coming week. So everybody, these division races are going to be in full swing coming out. The gap between baseball's best is perhaps not as wide as we thought, with these AL powerhouses starting to look like real threats to the Los Angeles Dodgers' potential crown.
Right.
But there's been a little mediocre play in the AL side that makes the Dodgers kind of look like world beaters again. But the way that it stands right now is the New York Yankees have the best odds to win the World Series at plus 400. And with the lineup top to bottom, it's hard to argue with that.
Yeah, it's the return of the Bronx Bombers in a big way. Big way. Geez, Aaron Judge having a season.
He is.
Oh.
He's got to be pretty much a lock for top 5 MVP candidate. But the Dodgers are really nipping at their heels at plus 420. And Houston's right behind them at plus 650. I'm going to go down the list a little bit here, Andy.
Okay.
I really like the way that a couple of these teams are playing baseball right now, especially the Atlanta Braves. They're sitting at 53 and 36 right now. They opened at a plus 900. Obviously, they're the defending champs. They're sitting at a plus 1,200 right now. So
they actually went the other way.
They actually went the other way just because, they're still way above 500 and, still have yet to kind of find their spark and all this kind of stuff. But a team with this kind of pedigree, with this kind of all-stars on their team.
They're 11 games above 500.
Exactly. Exactly. And they're at plus 1,200. I think it's a very good... I don't know.
It's a future to look at.
It's a future to look at right now.
They're going. Even though it's kind of odd, you look at it. They opened up at plus 900. Now they're at plus 1,200.
Yeah.
You might feel better about them now than you did
at the start of the season.
Yeah, the start of the season.
And that's kind of what I was getting at. Is I think it's a very good value play at 1,200 because I really think that they're as good as any team in baseball outside of the Yankees and Dodgers at this point. But I don't see any reason that this team can't compete for the championship this year again.
No, not at all. And what do you think of the other team that's sitting at 1,200 right now, San Diego?
Yeah.
I think it's kind of fun what they're doing. They're kind of like that thorn in the Dodgers' side.
No doubt about it.
It's a fun little rivalry that's been kind of growing, getting some steam to it in the last couple of years. And they opened up at plus 1,600, so now they're actually moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
And I don't know. You never know how seeding is going to work out, but I feel like a lot of times they try to break it up. So you have two West Coast teams. You know what I mean?
No, they're trying to do that.
So
it's just how you can't put 5 National League teams up there because no matter what, those teams are going to have to play themselves. Yeah. At some point. So one of those isn't going to make the NLCS or the World Series. So, no, they try to back it up as an NL team, an AL team, an NL team, an AL team. Yep. And that's the way it goes because they have the best chances of making the World Series and winning the World Series. So, no, I really like the way that the Padres are trending just because I think they have probably the best rotation in baseball with Joe Musgrove, Yu Darvish, Clevenger. They just got the pitchers.
Darvish is healthy.
Yes.
Finally.
Yeah, and I'm just saying if they get into a series with one of these powerhouses, they can shut people down for multiple games in a row, which really, really helps you in a 7-game series when you can just say, okay, this guy's only giving up 1 run, this guy's pitching a shutout. It's that's what playoff baseball is all about, and that's the way that we've seen teams win in the past here. When they get hot with pitching, they only have to score 4 or 5 runs in there in the money.
I believe Billy Bean, Oakland Athletics general manager, said,
pat yourself on the back.
My shit don't work in the playoffs.
It doesn't.
It really doesn't, because you get stuck playing a team like San Diego, who does have a rotation, who does have enough bats, capable bats, and now you're in a tough spot. You know, you dropped a game at home, and oh boy, we got to go on the road and try and figure this one out. So I like San Diego, I like Atlanta. Who else are you looking at?
I am looking at the St. Louis Cardinals. They're literally sitting at where they were at the start of the season at plus 2,500, but I just really like this team. They probably have the NL MVP leader on their team in Paul Goldschmidt, and Nolan Arenado is just hitting his stride too.
Yep.
And
got him back.
And it's just crazy as these old timers, we'll call them, on their team just keep producing. I just saw Pujols hit a 450-foot home run, and he's like 94, and he's in the freaking home run derby this year.
He's only like 54. So.
I understand, but no, him and Yachty just continue to produce, and
he's a catcher. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, I don't understand, but no, I really like this team, especially with their experience, with their veterans that they have on this team. Like I said, they got Goldie, they got Arenado, and
they are that gnat that just won't go away.
Exactly, and with that experience, I really think that they can make a run at it. And I like the plus 2,500. I really do.
Yeah, that's a great spot to be in. I think you're looking at another team that's right around that mark as well.
So this is my last hope. This is my calling. This is my Minnesota Twins.
Let's go.
They started out. They had a bad year last year, so they opened up at plus 8,000 this year at the start of the season, and they're already down to plus 2,500 because they are leading the AL Central by about 5 games right now, ahead of the Guardians and the White Sox. So I really like this Minnesota team. If they can add some pitching on the backside, they really need a closer. They've lost about 4 or 5 games in the 9th inning this year just because they do not have a true closer, which we traded away to the Padres this in the offseason. But if they can find somebody at this break or right before the trade deadline to get and actually hone in and try and put this complete team together, they are scary because they have a top-to-bottom lineup with about as much power as people can have, and we have the league's best actual batter in batting average with Luis Ariz. He's an all-star. We got Buxton. He's an all-star. I really think if we're going to make a run, it has to be probably this year. And because we've been on that niche for about 4 or 5 years, are they going to do it? Are they going to do it? Are they going to do it? So if I have any hope, it's going to be this year. And I am going to throw some money. I did throw some money on them at plus 8,000. But now I'm going to put some more money on it at plus 2,500.
So you believe that they are they're going to shell it out. They're going to go for it. They're going to try and pick up a couple arms.
Yes, they will. I know that they will. With new management, they have been trying to. You can see that these aren't the Minnesota Twins of the past.
Such a homer.
But think about the Minnesota Twins before the last 2 or 3 years. We never spent any money. They had to be homegrown boys like Sano, Mauer, Morneau, all those guys. We never went and got anybody in free agency. But check out the last couple of years. We went out and got Nelson Cruz. We went out and got Josh Donaldson. We came in and got Carlos Correa this year. This management will spend money, and they think we have a true winner. And if we can find an actual closer, this team is going to be scary, and you heard it here first.
All right. Well, I got one. I'm going to come back at another one that's even a bigger long shot.
Yeah, let's go.
And it has a lot to do with Peter Golenbach kind of rubbing off on me. We had him on the pod a week ago. And, I mean, he lives down around Tampa Bay.
Yep.
And he's like, look, all of our starters are out with injury.
Exactly.
I think he said at one time 7 of their regular starters in the field were out. Those guys they're not even healthy. They're not even close to being healthy right now.
You're right.
and they're sitting 7 games above 500.
Yeah.
Okay, and we've seen them get by New York, get by Boston. Okay, they're in a World Series 2 seasons ago.
2 seasons.
So they can get there. They know they can get there, even though no one goes to their games.
Right.
I mean, that's a whole nother issue or whatever. But this team
is good.
Yes, it's very good, and they're banged up by as all get out, and they're still 7 games above 500. I think after the break here, when they do get healthy, when they do get that starting rotation back in line, oh man, sitting at plus 2,800, I really like that. And they open up at plus 1,400. I like it even more now than I did at the beginning of the season, and especially with the body of work they've done. I'm thinking, this one's teed up. This is looking good.
This is looking good. No, I totally agree with you and everything you just said. They're a team that you can't count out because they've been there, and those players that were on that team are just older now and more experienced.
Right.
If this pitching staff can come back and can be healthy,
they're expected to.
Exactly. You might have hit something there at a plus 2,800. That's a pretty good one. And we wouldn't be who we are if we didn't mention the Boston Red Sox. They are sitting at 47 and 41. They probably will squeak in to a wild card spot just because the Yankees are so far ahead of them right now with 61 wins. But if Boston squeaks in there, nobody can take down the Bronx Bombers like Boston.
They're a half game behind Tampa Bay right now.
Exactly. And they're at plus 3,300. You know that they will spend money.
Oh, yeah.
You know that they will.
If they just have a shot.
Exactly.
They're shelling it out. They don't care.
And they got power. They got all-stars, all that kind of stuff. So that's probably another one that people should look into at plus 3,300. But those are my top ones. I really like Atlanta. I really like St. Louis, and my heart's in Minnesota.
There we go. So and we've talked about it before. It doesn't hurt, especially in baseball, to go ahead and bet on a team that you know something about, that you follow day in and day out.
Exactly.
So why not? You got something coming up for the folks here throughout the week?
Yeah, no. We have the Home Run Derby taking off on Monday. And they haven't set the whole lineup yet. We got Pete Alonso, the 2-time champ. He's probably going to have the best odds, I would say.
I would think so.
He's got the swing. He's won it twice in a row. But we also have Ronald Acuna Jr., who's been in it before. Albert Pujols, who's been in it before. Juan Soto, who's been in it before. And Kyle Schwarber, who's been in it before. These are all guys that have been in this thing. I think it's going to be really, really close with these lines, but
it's going to be fun.
Check in on our YouTube or our TikTok or our Twitter. I will be putting out these picks who I think is going to win, and just tune into it. It's one of the funnest things of the summer, especially for me. I've just remember always growing up watching Mark McGwire, watching Bonds, watching Griffey.
All those guys.
Just kill it with this thing, and I just really think it's one of the funnest events of the summer, and we'll put some picks out for it.
It is a lot of fun. So, folks, be sure to follow us on Twitter, TikTok, all that fun stuff for those picks coming out throughout the weekend. We need that lineup, though, and they're. I think they're just kind of milking it. I really
think they're
do.
Milking it too. I think they probably will have a couple. A little, not big names come in here at the end or whatever, just to fill it out. A couple young guys, because this is such a stat card already with some of the league's best home run hitters. I think John Carlos Stanton might be the last big name that they're going to throw in at the end. So, which will be a powerhouse, and he's won it before too. So these lines are going to be pretty tight, but if I had to pick right now, it's going to be Pete.
And as far as running into the All-Star game next week, that's really all you're looking at as far as betting? Or are you looking at anything else there?
No, it's so hard for me to bet on the All-Star game because you don't know if they're going to take it serious.
Right.
You don't know if the pitching is going to take it serious. You don't know if they're going to lob balls up for them. Obviously, they want to make it as real as it can be, but it could be
former teammates, like you said, playing against their old team. You know what I mean? Yeah. And now that I don't know, I was kind of a fan of, and I'm in the minority there, but I liked it when it mattered, and the winning, American League, National League got to host the world, be the home
World
team.
Series. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, because then that coach you're expected to win. Like, you're accountable to the other 28 teams,
no doubt
32
about
teams, and now that's kind of the rug's been pulled out on that, and I get
Best
it.
record, I think, now. So
I hear the noise, I get it, but
Yeah. No, I did like the rule as well, just because it made it a fun game with the best players. I get why they changed it, but I just don't have anything to bet on.
Right. I don't like that either, but it is fun to go ahead and maybe have a little fun with the home run derby.
Exactly.
I'll tell you what Pete Alonso did last year alone, what a show.
Yeah.
He is so confident. And it just felt like he was toying with everybody.
Exactly.
That last at bat there.
Yeah,
that was amazing. So, I mean, I can tell you before your line even comes out, it'd be tough for me to bet against Alonso, but with the odds makers, those cappers, if it's too much of minus money, there is no way.
Yeah.
No way I'm going to risk that much, especially in that type of setting.
For sure.
Hey, I got a quick question for you, though.
Yeah.
A lot of our folks tune into this. They're not big-time bettors.
Yeah.
We're learning a lot as we move forward as well.
Sure.
So something that I think confuses a lot of people, you go to make a baseball bet and there's ML, there's RL, like what's going on there? And it's money line and run line. What is the difference there?
Okay, so I'll just give you an example. Today, the New York Yankees on their run line was minus 1.5 runs. So that means that to hit this bet, they have to win by 1.5 runs, which means they have to win by 2 runs to win this bet. And you'll see on run lines that it'll be plus money, and more than likely because it's such a harder bet to hit than just winning by 1.
Yep.
So that's where your value comes in baseball, is with run lines, not money lines. So just like we were saying with the New York Yankees today, they're minus 1.5 at plus 105. So to hit that plus 105 bet, they have to win by 2. Now, on the money line, they're sitting at a minus 198, which is way worse odds, not plus money, negative money. So you'd have to risk a lot more on a money line than you would on a run line.
And a money line is pretty much just picking a winner.
That is all it is.
That's all the money line is.
Pick them.
And the run line is they got to, and a lot of times you do see that 1.5.
Yeah.
Because so many games are decided by 1, and you see a lot of managers just protect that 1-run lead.
That's what it's all about.
And that's what they're coaching towards.
That's what it's all about.
So I like the money line, even though the odds aren't always that great.
Right.
That's why you got to look for that edge, that crease. Like, okay, what starters are rolling in?
Exactly.
Who's traveling? Are they on the a 3-way bender across the nation? That's where you do get value in the money line, picking those dogs, getting that plus money.
No doubt about it. And like we were just talking about the New York Yankees, they had a minus 1.5 run line today, and they're in the top of the 10th inning as we speak, 6-6.
Yeah.
So more than likely that run line will not hit.
No.
The money line's probably more than likely going to hit because they're at home and they get the bat last.
Yep.
But more than likely this run line will not hit. A lot more times the money line hits, and that's just the odds. That's just the odds. But like you said, if they have their ace pitcher out there and you think they're going to beat the Reds by 5 runs, throw the run line out. It's just how you feel on that day, and that's how it is.
All right, so I think that's all I had for us. You got anything else you want to talk about?
No,
you're good to go?
That's what I had for the day.
All right, huge thank you to Jonathan Von Tobel once again from VSiN, taking a minute to talk to us about Summer League NBA action out there in Las Vegas. Another big thanks to Nebraska Brewing Company, world class in every glass, no doubt about it. Been enjoying this Cardinal the entire time.
Yes, sir.
For WTL, Where's the Line? My name is Andy Klassen, joined by
Gibran.
As always, the Parlay Pounder. Thank you, folks, for listening.